Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, September 10th, and this is Lori Bradley, and I'm here today for Lunch with Lori, our free weekly online class. And today we're going to break off of the holidays catalog for just a little bit, and we're going to go back to a bundle that was gone. It has been so popular that it was in, and then it was out, and then it was back. I think it's been in and out of availability at least 3 times. So it's available again. I wanted to show it to you today, and it's called Spotlight on Nature. And it is, it's a really pretty bundle. The one complaint, and it's not really a complaint that I have, is it just has 2 words. So for my cards today, I did branch out a little bit, and I'm giving you some other ideas of other stamp sets that you could put with it or do, or add your own words and whatever you have in your stash. So I have 3 cards today. I have one that just is the stamps. We just use the stamps. I have one that we just use the dies. And then I have one that I copied or cased from one of the ladies in the artisan design team. Alana Worf is her name, and I copied her card because I think it's beautiful, and it uses both the stamp sets and the dies. If you're watching today and you share my video, share it on your timeline, share it on your Facebook page, in a scrapbook group you're in a card making group you're in, any craft group, I will draw tomorrow for a free FunFold class. My FunFold class, my September one is going out today, so it will actually be for my October class. So if you share that, I will send you the 3 projects for next month if your name is drawn. So let's get started. I need to flip my camera around, make sure my computer is on, and we'll get started. I'm going to start with the simple card today. Let me show them to you really quick. Make sure my camera is where it needs to be. All right, so we have 3 cards today. They're all very different. And so we're going to, like I said, we're going to go with the stamps, the dies, and both. So I'm going to start with just the stamp. And I started to do this with a different block, but we'll see. Actually, I'm so excited. The FedEx man just pulled up out front, and I just ordered some of the new scrapbooking kits. So the 3 kits should be coming. Hopefully he doesn't ring the doorbell, but if the doorbell rings, you know it's the FedEx man, and he's bringing all of my scrapbooking goodies that I got from the brochure. So here we go. I love a simple note card. One of my favorite color combinations is petal pink and gray granite. And so for my note card today, like I said, I'm starting simple. This one is going to be just a note card. So I have a gray granite panel, a white panel, and then the note card. Let me show you the bundle really quick. The Spotlight on Nature bundle has 2 very pretty flower and leaves. The font is beautiful. The butterfly is very pretty. I'm not going to, the only 2 stamps I'm going to use are these today, but I will show you other ones later at a different time. And the dies. And the dies don't actually cut out any of the pieces from the stamps. It is actually beautiful circles that have fancy edging. Looks like a little half flower, looks like little hash marks, and then there's dots and dashes. That's probably some Morse code something or other, who knows. And then there's varying sizes of all of those. So those are the dies that match the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. So like I said, we're going to use that for 2 of the cards. And one is just going to be the dies. So let's get going. Sorry, that was a little squirrel that just ran by. All right, so this card, we are going to start with our petal pink ink and a Stampin' Block. And for this one, I was going to use a square, and I started a whole different route, but I'm going to use a block, and this is block H. And you just need to make sure that your block is very clean on one side. The back side of this one is not clean. That's not how I know which side the ink goes on. Very clean with no goopy, adhesives or anything like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ink up my block just like I would a stamp set or a stamp of any kind. And it's gonna look like that. Hopefully you can see that. Now, actually I'm gonna cover my workspace because I'm gonna get a little crazy here. And I have filled my spritzer bottle, just my Stampin' spritzer bottle, with alcohol. And I had to clean it out, so hopefully the green that was in here before doesn't mess up. But I'm just gonna hold it back just probably 12 inches. Make sure my sprayer is going the right way. And I'm just gonna spritz that onto my block. Let me make sure it works first. Make sure. All right, and you can kind of see that the ink kind of spreads a little bit. And then we are just going to, I'm gonna turn it so I can see and get the block straight. But I'm just gonna squish that down. I'm gonna hold it. That's gonna make, I think it's crooked. We'll see what that, hold it for just a minute. And then I'm gonna let it up. And it's a kind of blotchy, let's do another one and see how it, so you can see that it looks different. I'm gonna do the exact same thing again. And no two are the same. You can see that this one has some smaller dots around the edges, and then it has more blurred lines in the middle. You could do this with two colors. You could do the hot top pink, the bottom yellow, and do it like that. You could do one solid color, but I would choose a color that's more of a soft color, unless you're gonna use black ink. And I chose gray granite, so mine is not super, super dark. Actually, let's do it. Let's try a different way. Let's do it without the alcohol, and we'll see which one we like better. But again, I have to stand up so I can see where I'm going. See if it looks any different. See if there's any difference in the two. The alcohol actually, excuse me, helps it, oh, so it didn't work nearly as well. It's not as blotchy. So let's flip it. We'll just go with our original. So there we have it. Although that would be kind of a cool, we'll stamp it anyway and we'll see what happens. All right, so I've got my pink ink. I'm gonna close my Petal Pink ink pad. And these, with the alcohol, it dries very quickly. Like it's already dry enough that I can stamp on it. The one thing it may, and you obviously can't see texture from or feel texture from your screen, but it has just a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a, and I think that's the alcohol drying the paper. I used regular basic white. If you wanted, you could use watercolor paper, any of that kind of thing. But with the alcohol, it dries faster. So I just did regular paper, the regular basic white, with the spritz of the alcohol. And if it doesn't dry as quickly as you'd like it to, then you could certainly use your heat tool. I could hold it up to my lamp next to me, but it's already dry. Like I don't get any ink on my finger. I'm gonna stamp both of them and we'll just see which one we like better. All right, so I'm going to use the flower stamp, and it's just the flower and the stem. I got my sticker a little crooked on my stamp, so I guess that's okay. And I'm going to use, I almost did the Petal Pink, that would have been a disaster. The gray granite ink, and I'm just gonna stamp that and kind of overlap it over the stamped, the blob, for lack of a better word. But it just gives a background so that you can actually, you know, it's not just a plain white background. And there's no right or wrong where the flower is placed. And we'll stamp that. Ta-da. Actually, let's go ahead and stamp it on this one and we'll see what the difference is. I love note cards. If you need a simple card, it's easy. And this one, like I said, literally, I got this one ready in less than 10 minutes. I was at the store the other day. I looked at the price of note cards. A set of note cards is crazy, even at Walmart. And not nearly as pretty as the ones that we make. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and stamp thanks in the corner. If you're watching, tell me which one you think is better. The one with just a little bit of pink or more pink? Which one you like better? I actually kind of like the one that doesn't have as much pink for this one. And then we'll have two that are sort of similar but sort of different. Actually, let's go ahead and stamp the thanks on this one, and then I have it completely ready, and I don't have to restamp it. The more pink, okay. Okay, well let's go more pink then. I think that would be pretty with yellow. The Lost Lagoon would probably be pretty. Any of the soft colors in the Subtles family I think would be great. Maybe I'll redo it, maybe I'll do it again, and post a picture of like Melon Mambo with black or bright yellow and black, and we'll see what the difference is. Okay, so we'll use the one with more pink. We'll set this one aside, and then I'm just going to use my adhesive and put that on there. Put the panels together. Yes, literally, this one is about a 5-minute start to finish once you have your supplies ready, which I love, even though my block is a little crooked on here. And then I'm going to do it flat. It's just a basic note card. You could easily use a ribbon if you wanted, or some other embellishment. We're just doing a note card, so I'm gonna leave this one blank with no fancy things. It could easily be a gift. You could put it in a little box, give it a gift. I don't have the envelope. I didn't bring an envelope over, but you could stamp your envelope with this pretty flower. Let's see. I do have an envelope. The package is right here. You could do it on the back, or you could do it on the front. Excuse me. Let's stamp it on the front. Stamp this flower. I'm not going to stamp the whole thing. So let the mailman know you're sending something special. And there you go. Now your envelope is pretty as well. And it's not just the outside of the card. Clean it off my block here so I don't get my fingers in it, because you all know that that's what I would do. So literally what I did for that, I just put my block in the ink, and then I spritzed it with the alcohol, and I just have your basic rubbing alcohol, and it dried pretty quickly. Oh, the butterfly. I love the butterfly too. Let me see here. I don't have it on a block, but let's do that. Stamp set. You can do the butterfly. You want me to put it on the back of the envelope? I can do that. I've got to grab a block here. Pink or gray? Which would you prefer? Let me know what you're thinking here. We can put that on the inside as well. If I'd stamped my thing lower, we could have done the flower here. Okay, so let's open this guy up. And we will do a butterfly. Let's see. I'm going to put him on this side just because the flower's on the other side. Ta-da. How's that? All right. We could also have put the butterfly, like, you know what? Let's do 2 butterflies. Why not? Right there. I could have done it probably over, but I didn't want to mess where you write with. So there you go. Now we have our butterfly on the front and the back. I probably should have just put them on the back, but that's okay. All right. Thanks for the suggestion. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we have our simple note card ready to go. And like I said, it has a little bit of a texture, and I think that's from the paper being wet. So your recipient is going to think you are super fancy. Okay, card number 1. Card number 2, I am just going to use the dies. And so you probably heard about casing something. Copy and share everything. And so usually you case someone else. And so today I am casing myself, which is either going to be really good or really bad. So we'll see. We'll see. But a couple of years ago, I made this card, and I know I haven't shown it on Facebook Live, or at least I don't think I have. We used the Radiating Stitches dies, and they have little stitches around the outside. It had a rectangle that had stitching. You can see it. It is actually since retired, but I still had it in my stash, so I was like, these circles, look at that. So today's card, I'm going to use just the circle dies that have the stitches around the edges to show you. So I did this one in blue and yellow, and this one is a little more boyish, and it doesn't really matter, boy or girl, it can be for a girl as well. But I'm gonna switch my colors, and literally this morning I sat down, or stood at my island actually, and I die cut a whole bunch of circles, just so I had various colors. So they're pretty big. Let's see, I'm gonna flip this over because I don't do centimeters. It's a little over 2 inches, so it's about 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, so it's a pretty good size. And then the small one is about 1 inch, just a smidge over 1 inch. So I'm going to use these, and I pulled out ones that I thought that I wanted to use. We'll see. I did 3 big, 3 little, and I'm going to change my color scheme. So for this one, I'm going to use a lemon lime twist base. And what made me think about this? When we had our youngest son, we did not know if he was a boy or a girl, and I had everything ready for his nursery except the walls. Like I had a boy bedding picked out and a girl bedding, and I forgot to cut white paper. Give me half a second here. Running away while she's talking. All right, so we had boy bedding and girl bedding picked out, and as soon as we knew which gender he was, we called the painter to have the room painted. And oh wait, I don't have a bigger panel. Oh yes I do. Yes I do. Oh goodness, I'm having a moment here. And so let me check this because this may be wrong because I'm talking. I did it. Okay. Back to my story. Boy bedding and girl bedding. One was navy and green, this color green, and aqua. It was pool party. And the other one was hot pink and green. It was kind of a bubble gummy-ish sort of color. Well, if you know me, you know that we used the blue one. We did not use the pink one. So I thought, this is very similar. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the pink one. So I'm going to switch from the blue and yellow, which is the blueberry bushel and the daffodil. I'm going to switch it to lemon lime twist and melon mambo. We're just going to switch it up just a little bit. And I'm going to stamp Celebrate. And I got this stamp from the Softly Said stamp set, which is an online exclusive, and I'm just going to use this Celebrate right here. I'm going to use that on the background. I'm gonna, instead of in daffodil, I'm going to stamp it in lemon lime twist, and I'm hoping for the best here because I have not tried this with these colors, so wish me luck. All right, and I'm just going to randomly stamp Celebrate all over our card. And I found very quickly that this particular stamp is like a brush mark. So some of the letters are not as solid as the others. It's not because my ink pad is not appropriately inked. It's because it's just the stamp. Thank goodness, because I was about to have a heart attack. And again, there's no right or wrong. You can do as much or as little as you want. Okay. So I've got my Celebrate. I do need to wipe this off because we're going to stamp it in pink also. So I'm going to use my chamois. Just wipe that off really quick so it's clean. Stamp off. Okay, so that's ready. So I can go ahead and I can put my white panel onto my Melon Mambo panel. And then we're gonna build. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on because it is easier to glue it on when I don't have dimensionals on it, because you know I did things the backwards way on my sample. All right, then actually let's go ahead and let's get it all on the card, because once you have dimensionals on the front, it's lumpy on the back and your adhesive is not as easy to put on there. Okay, so we have our Celebrate. I just pulled some big ones and some little ones. Those are circles. Okay, so then I'm just gonna kind of lay them on here how we want them. Random, like literally it is just random. And then I'm gonna pick another, what do you think, is that good? Oh, and the reason that I put this one cattywampus, which is my favorite word if you know me, when I pulled off the original that was straight, I tore that a little bit, so I had to hide it. But I kind of like the, would you like it, let's see. Do you think we should do it straight, or I'm gonna do it like that? I think I will. I think I'm just gonna do it a little off. So the flat ones, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no right or wrong. We're just gonna put some adhesive on the back of these. And you can die cut these multiple at a time. I did a big one and a little one of every color and then just decided what to do with them. And there we have our big ones. Oops, that one I got a little edge, so it's not gonna show. So I'm just gonna turn it to make sure that it's not, that although it overlaps, the white piece will cover. Then I'm going to stamp the white piece. And I used white scraps today. I had a lot of white scraps laying around, and so I used them today. I'm gonna go back to my Celebrate that I cleaned off. We're gonna do Melon Mambo. And do that right in the middle. Whew, makes me nervous. Attach that to the panel. I did a solid white first, and that's actually what caused my original problem, is I decided that I needed a matte around it so that I had some extra color on the card, because it's a bright, happy Celebrate card. Okay, and then I'm gonna just put dimensionals on the back of this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this piece on. I'm gonna use big dimensionals so I don't have to use as many. Dimensionals on. And again, cattywampus it. Except I'm going to scoot it over a little more than my original was, because that way I can see. And then I've got some extra color ones, and I don't know if I need 4 or if I should just use 3. How about that? I think we'll call it good. And I'm going to put, they kind of are like confetti. They can go anywhere. But if I put that one there, then it kind of breaks up all of that pink. And then, oh, oops. I put that on the back of that one. Well, it looks like instead of that one, we're going to use Flirty Flamingo, because that's what I've got my dimensional on. Ta-da. All right, then I brought some gems over. I'm not sure that they're quite the right, oh, the yellow. This is actually Lemon Lime Twist. So we could use Lemon Lime Twist, and this one is very similar to Petunia Pop. It is not the same, but I think we could do it. Let's do the Petunia. I think that's close enough. My college roommate used to say good enough for who it's for, and that was usually when she was cooking, and it was usually me. So, if it's good enough, it's good enough, right? So we have the same card twice in the blues and then more in the pinks. So it's the exact same principle. You could die cut a million circles with your Spotlight on Nature dies, run those through, and then you have this big stack, and you just pull from it. Pull from it and decide which colors that you want it to be. All right, card number 2. So that one just used the dies. And then, now my mat here is all dirty. Now my third card is going to use both the dies and the stamp set. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to tone it down. We're actually going to use muted colors, which, as you know, it's not my forte. I have to think harder about those, I guess, is words I should say. All right. And this one's a little off kilter, and I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm trying to branch out my ways. All right. So I have Pretty in Pink. Oh my goodness, Pretty in Pink is Pretty Pink. Pretty in Pink. Is that the old one? Anyway, it's one of the in colors. Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon, and those two are always beautiful together. So that's what we're going to use for these. And for this one, I'm going to use the leaf stamp, just the leaf stamp on the Lost Lagoon. And I have that as 3 3/4 by 5. It's kind of a smaller thing, and I'm not going to have a mat around it. It's just going to be off the edge, which is crazy. All right, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the Celebrate just a minute ago. And I'm going to just stamp my leaves around the edges. No right or wrong. And that middle section is going to be covered, so that's not exactly where I probably should have put that, but here we are. If you don't like it, you flip it over. Look for another leaf there, so anyway. 2 sides to every paper till you glue it down. Just didn't like how that stem was wonky in the middle. All right, now that makes me a little happier, so that is good. So I did that in Lost Lagoon ink on Lost Lagoon paper, so that's kind of a tone on tone. I have die cut one of the Spotlight on Nature circles. We're going to use that. I have punched out 2 leaves from the bow punch, and that actually just arrived in my last order. I thought I had it and I did not, so I have 2 of those. I already tied my bow, so you're not having to watch that little show. And then I had literally some 1/2 inch scraps, and so for that I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday, and I pulled that out of a different stamp because I didn't want to say dear friend. I just want to say Happy Birthday, and I'm using this small little Happy Birthday words from the Simply Said stamp set. So I used a couple of other stamp sets just for words because this stamp set and bundle is beautiful on its own. I just didn't want to, I needed some extra words. So you could use whatever you have. All right, so I'm just going to stamp Happy Birthday right on my 1/2 inch strip, kind of in the middle because there we go. Now, I need to color my flowers. And so our flower that we're using, I'm going to make a Pretty Peacock flower, which I don't know if those exist in nature, but I'm copying this almost. So the flowers are Pretty Peacock and the leaves are Old Olive. So to do that, I'm not going to dip them in 2 ink pads. This is a cling stamp, so I'm going to take my stamp. I'll set my words here aside for a second. And I'm going to color it. And I'm going to use my marker. I'm going to use the brush tip. And don't ever color up and down like this. Turn your marker sideways. And we're just going to color our flower. Just the flower, not the leaves or the stem. Color that. Go down here to this flower. I'm going to color him. So we're going to color all 3 of our flowers in the Pretty Peacock. And this is just the Stampin' Write marker that I have. Do not use magic marker or any permanent marker. Ask me how I know that. One of my stamps was completely ruined at an event because somebody used their marker on it. and it would not come off. It was blue forever. All right, so just now I'm going to use my old olive to color the stem and the leaves. And you won't be able to see me, but when I get done with this, the flowers are going to be a little bit dry because this ink dries fairly quickly. So we're just coloring the leaves, and they'll be a little bit dry as well. So literally, I'm going to pick up my stamp. Again, I'm sorry you can't see me do this, but you'll be able to hear me. And I'm going to huff on it. Not huff like there's no illegal paint sniffing or anything like that. We're just going to go across it. And you can see it's a little damper because your breath has moisture in it. And so I'm going to stamp my flower right on my circle. Just like that, and it will stamp both colors. There we go. So we have our flower that's pretty peacock and our stems that are old olive. If you have cling stamps, you can do that. You're not supposed to do it with photopolymer, but I'd be willing to give it a try myself. So, okay, so now we can assemble. I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to figure this part out first and then attach it. I'm going to put this across like this, just to cover the stem, and I'm going to cut just like that. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to attach my sentiment right to, except I chose the wrong liquid glue bottle. That one is dry. And this one's being cantankerous. Oh, here we go. When it has glue boogers right on the top. Okay. There we go. Liquid glue doesn't take a whole lot. Last night we made a card at my team meeting and it literally required tiny, tiny drops of glue. All right, we're gonna cover up the edge over here, so that's okay. So that's gonna go there. Let's start building. So I've got my card base. I used a long card base, so it's gonna be open like that. And then our Lost Lagoon piece is actually going to butt up against the left side because our focal point is going to be over closer to the right side. So, so we're going to balance that a little bit. Put my adhesive on. It's just a flat piece, not bumped up. So we're just going to use regular adhesive. It doesn't matter which way the leaves go. Okay. So like I said, it's offset. That's on purpose. I'm still debating on how I feel about it. I'll go ahead and put my leaves behind here. I want to see where it lands so I know where to put my leaves, because if I poke my leaves out like this, they have to be able to stay on the card. Otherwise they won't fit in the envelope. Just going to put some adhesive along the sides. Normally I use Scotch tape, you all know me, but I want to be able to move it a little bit. So let's go here. And again, there's no right or wrong. I love cards like that where there's no right, no wrong. We can put them where we want. And then we're also going to have a ribbon. So my ribbon might come out right there. Let's go down. Too far. See, that's why I wanted to see. My other one was down this way. Okay. Then we'll put our dimensionals on, and I'm going to put a dimensional right across the stems of these flowers. Swap cards I dug out of my stash that I got that was included this bundle. So I'll show you those in just a second. So I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to put my ribbon down here, and it's going to cover up that corner right there. But before I do that, I tied my ribbon beforehand, so you didn't have to watch that. I'm going to tie a little piece of twine. I have one roll of twine that is almost completely gone. And I'm going to tie a bow around it just to add a little extra. And that's probably why this wonderful stamp artisan design team, and I am not. I was going to tie it through, actually I can. I'm going to trim this just a smidge. I didn't glue it. You can see that there's holes in the thing. So I'm going to thread my twine right through that. So that I did this earlier, but I don't want to cut my piece too small. So let's go from the bottom. All right, maybe I should have done this part before I put it down, but that's okay. We learn lots of lessons here. I'm just going to feed that through the hole, and my twine's trying to split because I'm pulling on it. Well, I did my bow ahead of time. It looks nice. You all should just be proud of me for that. Let's go to this one. Forget that little guy right there. Maybe that's the problem. I'm trying to put it in the wrong hole. Then I'm going to put my bow right here. If I loop this twine around, tie it right across the knot. Well, I think I might like it better going this way. Or we'll just leave it like it is, and I'll change it later. And then I'm going to tie a little bow. So it's two bows in one, but that twine is looped through that hole in the die and will hold it on, and you don't need a glue dot, you just tie it on there. So you have two dots instead of one. I couldn't find a dot that matched this one as well. The Pretty Peacock sequins were not what I felt that we needed for this one. They were a little too shiny. So I'm going to leave this one as is, but that is our third card. Now, let me show you all three. This one was just the stamp set, and we used the block to make the ink background, just a soft background for a simple note card. And then this one used just the dies, and that one is all of the circle dies that we just put together, and we used the Softly Said stamp set for the word to add a little bit of happiness there. And then this one used the stamp set, a little extra words, and then the stamp and the dies. So there you have it. Like I said, if you share this video on one of your craft groups that you're a part of or on your Facebook timeline, comment in the thing that you shared it, and then tomorrow on Wednesday evening I will draw, or at the end of the week, I'll give you till the end of the week to share it. That way if you're watching on YouTube you can share it, or if you're watching on Facebook you can share it, and I will draw at the end of the week for someone who will win a Fun Fold class for next month. If you place a $35 order in my website between now and Sunday, you will get these cards, the makings for these cards for free. I can't stamp them, but I can give you the pieces. And if you spend $50, you will receive the cards, a free gift, and my Fun Fold for next month. So I will include my host code, and I appreciate that you all watched today. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next Tuesday. Oh, I will show you, right before I leave, I will show you my card from my demonstrator meeting last night. We did a little added bonus. You get to see at the end here if you're still watching. We used the Sophisticated Sled Bundle, which has the prettiest little pieces of that make a sled. And your sled could be so many different colors. So I will show you this one in detail on a different day. Coming up soon, I'm going to try to do a 30 cards in 30 days. So wish me luck. I'm working on that. I'm trying to decide when's the easiest and best time for me to start that. But this will be one of our 30 cards in 30 days that I'm working on. So thank you again for watching. Like I said, I will post all the details of the things that I used today, and if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next week. Thank you.